at this, guys. I didn't even get all of my priming done. And it's snowing. What are you gonna do? Hopefully a good day will come and I can finish priming. Well, guys, it's been quite a week. Weekend actually. As you see, I've gotten a little bit done here. Slowly building my third set of Dreadfleet. My second set on trade. And of course this one's primed a little bit lighter than these two. This one's my set. And I'm really tired right now, but I'm going to paint anyway. Before I continue and get started with the Swordfysh, I just wanted to show this bone hydra. I actually pretty much finished up the bone work on it. Yay! And there was much rejoicing. Also did the bone work on leechworm. Yeah, it's got some flesh hanging off of it, the bone, so that's kind of why the lighter bone color isn't everywhere on this. I'm gonna have to take a little bit more time there. Haven't really finished this turtle yet. I just have the white to do. Pure white highlight. But I'm getting there. And I'm very pleased. Finished all of the bone for the ruler. Yeah. Now all I have to do is paint the blue water around it and fill in the numbers with color. Woohoo! Okay. So, what is the first step here? Well, grab your Chaos Black or any of your black, whatever paint series you're using, and paint it all. Go to town. This will be your base layer, and it's going to be real nice and smooth, like a nice ebony color. It'll serve as the base of the Swordfysh. In case you're wondering what all this noise is in the background, that would be my first mate. So, how was my weekend and my week? Oh, well, let me tell you. When you have a 3-year-old that gets as sick as mine does, like compounded illnesses, it makes for an interesting weekend. Well, first grab whatever brush you want. This is just a basing step, so, you know, nothing fancy here. Just get inside all those little holes. Make it nice and smooth. As black as you can make it. So, yes, my son came down with double pink eye, double ear infection, and croup, which croup is kind of like, I don't know, to me it's like a generic term for coughing and hacking. Okay, swordfishes, you're getting in my way. You must go now. So they put him on antibiotics, both for the double ear infection, which he gets a lot, and the pink eye. and he's had pink eye before, and he's had drops for that. But I guess this time they just wanted to go with the antibiotics because of the ear infection. Yada 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 yada. Anyway, my son has a reaction to antibiotics quite badly. Just diarrhea. That's putting it mildly. I'm running on very little sleep. I have been to the bathroom more times than literally I can count. I've gone through a lot of my son's laundry because it's just... I'm not going to get into details, but I'm changing clothes frequently. Let's just put it like that. Ended up having to get big size pull-ups for my son. He's actually potty trained, and he is 3. And he is not happy about being back in diapers. But you gotta do what you gotta do, you know. But long story short, I took him back to the doctor today, and I said, hey man, this ain't working, and we can't live like this because the cure is worse than the ailment. They took a look at his ears. They said they're like 90% better, and his eyes are better. Croup's still there, but what are you gonna do? So they let me take him off the antibiotics. So right now he's just coming off of the antibiotic stupor, and still, I mean, just it's taking a while to get out of his system, despite that's all he's doing non-stop. I apologize that it might seem like I'm being lax in my video posting, but like I always say, the family has to come first. So I am sorry, because I know a lot of you eagerly await my videos, and I hate to let you down, but you know, it is what it is. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the power was out for one day this weekend. Huh. That made everything even more fun, because we couldn't run the water, couldn't flush the toilet, couldn't talk on the phone. Had no light to speak of to paint with. Even I couldn't paint anyway, but you know. Anyway, I've been thinking a lot about this dice game I've been creating, and it's taking a lot of effort, as you know, any game or project endeavor will. And honestly, I don't think my husband would play Dreadfleet with me, and I find myself painting this mostly because I really love the ship design, and of course pirates. You gotta love pirates. But I do need some funding pre-Kickstarter for the game I'm working on, so I'm actually offering my copy of Dreadfleet right now on eBay. I'm doing it now because well, I intend to finish this project around Christmas, but due to the fact that I can't control nature, anything can happen. So, and I need to get prototypes made in order to do a nice video for Kickstarter. So I'm already on board with Kickstarter, just that I don't plan to launch the project until the new year. I know people are spending, getting ready to spend all their money for Christmas. So now would be a very poor time to begin a Kickstarter campaign. Now, if you don't know what Kickstarter is, it's basically a platform for artists to get funding for different projects. So it could be like writing a book, doing a musical album, movie project, and of course games, board games, video games, any kind of games. You should check it out. It's really good. There's some really nice projects up there. And when you back projects financially, like you make a pledge, you say, I'm going to support this project, you get stuff, depending on how much exactly you pledge. The people who are posting the project, they make that, they make it known what you get at each various level, Think a telethon drive, except cooler. And it's a good way for an artist to get funding when they otherwise wouldn't be able to raise the funding on their own. So there's no way I could make my custom dice game on my own. Like, there's no way at all. Custom dice are crazy expensive, to get them etched, but they're gorgeous. I mean, it just smacks of quality when you have etched dice. And my game definitely would require etched dice. So, yes, I will let you guys know when I'm ready for the campaign. But in the meantime, I'm going to be posting my Dreadfleet on eBay, and I'll put the link in the description so you can click it right now. Although, why you'd be interested in bidding, I don't know, because if you're watching this video series, you have your own Dreadfleet that you're painting yourself. But whatever. I'm telling you anyway. Get the word out, What the hell? Oh, also, I'm putting a link in, I don't want to forget to mention it, putting a link in to a fellow artist, Dullspork, who's currently posting a video series on the Dreadfleet set that he's painting, that someone commissioned him to do. And he's probably going to end up finished, like, long before me. I'd be shocked if it took him longer than 2 weeks. So just check the video description and you'll find that link. He does some really nice work. I'm also eager to see his final ships. Yeah, there's a lot of little nooks and crannies here. Taking a little bit longer than I thought. This is, of course, would be perfect for airbrushing. Solid base coats like this are really meant for the airbrush. So if you have one, break it out. I have one, but I'm not breaking it out. My airbrush is a little bit different. It's not meant for miniatures. I have this crazy dream that one day I'm going to get a car like El Camino or some form of truck or a muscle car, an old muscle car with a lot of hood space, and go to town on it, paint it, just completely strip it of the paint and just go nuts. Hand painted and airbrush too. Most people wouldn't hand paint a car, but I'm insane like that. And it would be awesome. But I know that's a pipe dream. Who can afford a car just to paint it? A working car. I don't want like a junker car that I can get for, $200. It doesn't run and it's just going to sit there. It's not. I want it to be functional art And people are like, well, why do you want to get an El Camino? They're so dumb. I mostly look at it as a type of canvas. And it would be perfect to paint like piratey logos on it. You know, like a nice Jolly Roger on the front and on the bed. Would just be awesome. But I am rambling on. You're probably sick of hearing it, and I'm taking up a whole ton of your time just base painting this ship. Unless, of course, you're base painting your ship right now, too. And then it's kind of like we're having a conversation while we're painting together. Is that creepy? Is that creeping you out? The trouble with black is I kind of forget what I've painted and what I haven't. Because the black primer does that to you. And of course I have to do the mass. Let me grab one of my other ships here. Nice little comparison, perhaps. You probably can't tell. Because I can't really tell. So I'm going to finish painting this and do the other two, and we'll move on to the next step. Well, it is now a new night. I've been forced to work at night here. Not really desirable. And last night I wasn't sure what I was thinking. So I did not finish the leech worm, so I finished it just now. Adding in final pure white highlights. So you can see how much that really pops. All I have to do now is paint up some of the hanging zombie skin and the leeches and algae and water. I guess I got a lot to do on it yet. Whatever. Same with the bone hydra. Added more white. So that should be quite a difference in appearance. At least it was when I was painting it. Yeah. Alright. Last but not least, the one that's been bothering me the most. My turtle. Hee hee. Yay. Alright. I can get on with what I was doing. So, now you should have your swordfish base painted all in black. Ooh, difficult. The next step will be to grab your Foundation Adeptus Battle Gray. You can mix up a gray with black, make a nice dark gray. Put you down here. And mix this, shake it up rather. And you're going to want to add that right along this edge. Very finely. And then wipe your brush a little bit. Kind of do the dry brush thing. If you want, you can grab some black paint at the same time and do a little bit of a wet blend. Have slightly smoother transition. I'm not sure if this is even being captured very well. Maybe if I shut up for a second, it'll work. And if this looks a little bit too light of a gray for you, you can always, when you're done, go in with a black wash to merge it in with the black a little bit more. I kind of like the look, but I'm a very high contrast person, and I realize that's not for everyone. Gonna get a little dry brushing in there. I'll try to show a close-up in a second. Oh, it's been another long day. My husband's sick now too. Ugh. Power seems to be stable though, finally. Which is nice. I'd like to be able to run water and flush a toilet, especially when my son has diarrhea. Ugh. Although hopefully that's on the mend now. Okay, let's try to get a close-up of this, or at least see where this is going. You see? Nice highlight along the hull. And the other thing I suggest doing, and I'm not going to use this brush for that, so let me wash it. And I will repeat this many, many times, but whenever you put a brush down, wash it. Grab a different brush here. Get a little bit of a cruddier brush. Get some paint on. And up in this area, you're going to want to dry brush a little bit. And when you're dealing with blacks, a lot of paint doesn't show up when you're working with grays. So you don't want to go too strong, but you don't want, obviously you don't want your work to just fade into black. So it's a little bit of a delicate balance. You want to err on the side of it not showing up as well than having it a little bit too light. Unless, of course, you're me and you like high contrast. Alright, let's get a close look. Okay, you can kind of see the gray parts versus the black. Now, another area you're going to want to get in is, of course, the rear here, the aft part of the ship, and also to dry brush these little crow's nest things that will hold the sails. Okay. So get your paint on your brush again, wipe most of it off, and start dry brushing. Now the white dwarf does show these to be gold, so it's up to you whether you want to make these crow's nests be gold. If you do, just wait till we get to the gold and then follow the directions as per painting the gold parts of the ship. It's actually a fairly easy ship to paint, but it will be a little bit tedious, mostly because of all these little teeth along the hull. go. It'll look pretty good. Might not be showing up on camera, but what are you gonna do? Wash said brush. You want to grab yourself more of a fine tip brush. So we're doing the aft part of the ship. I can't help it, but my lens is apparently dirty. I've tried cleaning it. I think it's on the inside. I don't know. Bear with me. Camera dust is the least of my concerns right now. Oh, I still have to paint this side of the ship. But hopefully you can see this. Get in. Bit close here under these ridges. And then feather it out. More dry brushing. This isn't really working very well because the bristles are a little damp. Did you get the idea? I'm going to work on that a little bit more and then show you, because I think you're getting a lot of shadow here. You can't really see what I'm doing anyway. Okay, so there you go. The aft part of the ship is looking good. Also, the flank. And now you just need to concern yourself with the top. And I highly suggest dry brushing. I'll show you. I've already done it for you. You can kind of see. Again, black is really difficult to photograph and do anything with. But you can kind of get the idea of how cool that looks dry brushed on the interior of the ship. So let's do that right now. Okay, so we're just going to dry brush the interior of the ship. And yeah, go from there. Hopefully you can see the slight difference that's making. You don't have to be even with this at all. You can have splotches of dry brushing here and there. It adds to the effect. These ships are supposed to be gritty after all. Well, there you go. It looks much better than just leaving it plain old black. Now, if that's a little bit too much for you, again, you could always grab your black wash and tone it down a bit. I like the look of it as it is, so I'm not going to add a wash. Now the next step would be to get out your Codex Gray. And we're going to edge highlight right in here, right underneath the cannons and shells and what have you. And also a little bit up in the crow's nest and all the tops of these cannons. I assume they're cannons, I'm not exactly sure. Or at least the ammo, the cannonballs, what have you. You want a real fine tip for this. And this is an extra step you don't really have to add, but it gives it a little more oomph. I suppose there's a lot of steps I'm adding that one doesn't necessarily have to add. Don't tell me my voice is going now. Very sorry. Hopefully I'm not next to get sick. I really am behind on this video series. And I know. You're gonna say, that's okay. We understand. We know you got family. But in the back of your head you're like, oh damn. Man, I want this video. And I know your mind is saying that because my mind is saying that. Okay, so this is an extremely subtle effect, which you probably can't even tell on camera. And again, you're going to want to do that to the aft section as well. It helps to have a steady hand. But don't worry if you don't, because you can always dry brush around the edge a little bit. Okay. And the other part we're going to focus on, man, the crow's nest. There's two little rims here. Hopefully you can see. I'm just going to want to highlight those a little bit. Been 2 days since I posted my auction. Yeah, actually it's over 2 days, like 2.5 days. And I've got 2 bids. It's up at like $1.25 now. And I am getting worried. And you're probably wondering, because there's other people on the forums have been like, dude, why would you post for $1? Well, you know what? I have an extremely good track record when it comes to selling anything Warhammer, 40K. Either boxes of miniatures that I decided not to build, miniatures I have built, miniatures I've built and primed, and miniatures I've painted. I have never had an auction go wrong when I started the bidding at $1. So I figured the same would hold true here, even though it is a little bit different. Because, after all, people aren't getting the game yet, because I'm still in the process of painting it. But I just figured, you know, people would have bid at least the price of the game by now. You know, $100 at least. So someone might be getting a really good deal. Of course, if it sells for less than the price of the game, I think I'll just be emotionally devastated. Get this aft section before I forget. Yeah. You know what? No, I'll get that in a second. Watch me forget it. But I'm going to show you painting these cannons. You can just go across. If you don't have a ton of paint on your brush, you can just swing across them all like that. I get a little bit more paint on my brush than I'd like, but you see how that makes them stand out? Or do you? Top down view time. See? There you go. You can also see what I did here with the crow's nest and highlighting the edges. A little extra nicety. And there along the side. And working on these cannons. Next step is going to also be taking foundation Denab stone, which is like another gray color, grayish whitish actually, and painting the masts as well as the shell section, the swordfish part, this unicorn-esque narwhal horn, and the back here, and of course all these little spears on top at the very, very tippy top. Those will all be painted in stone. Oh yeah, and don't forget all these little nice tedious little teeth. That is going to be very time consuming. And here we have 2 ships done up until this point. I also went in and those 2 pits in the ship, the grates on top, I highlighted with the Codex gray as well, so they would just stand out all the more. Huzzah! Now we come to one of the more tedious parts of the project, and that's with the Denab stone, doing all the bony parts. And then I think I might actually take a break, post this video so you know I'm still alive over here, and that way, yeah, I can get some sleep, because trust me, I am running on empty. So you're going to want to get a fine point, relatively, to do the teeth with. Now these teeth are going to have to get not just their side profiles, but also their tops and in between them. Now if you lay your paint on thick enough, you can get most of the sides. And if you make a mistake, you don't have to worry, because since this is all still black, you can just paint over any mistake with the black paint. Yay! Oh, the fact that this is Denob stone and it's a foundation paint means less layers, and that's really going to help when we do the mass, because going over black with an extremely light color usually requires a ton of layers. Now, I'm sorry if you don't have the foundation paints and you're stuck doing the layers, but what can I say? You gotta make it solid, and you gotta do the layers to make it solid if you don't have the foundation paint. And even with the foundation paint, I think it's going to take at least 2, maybe 3 layers, because this is a very light color. Well, it's going on pretty good. Let's see here. It's pretty solid just in one effort. So. You get the idea. Now, for doing these parts here, just do half of the little stick. I'll call it a stick. Half of the spear with your paint. And for funsies, let's see what happens when I do this. It's a pretty solid layer there. I can tell it's going to require at least one more go, but overall, pretty decent. Well, let me get to this tediousness without talking your ear off some more. And I'm not exactly sure how long this video has gone on, but like I said, I'm very tired and dealing with my son. It's just such an illness. Just wow, draining. That's all I could say, draining. And I don't even have any energy drink to keep me up. So let me get on this, and you'll see me in a few seconds here. And here we are. You kind of see what I've got going on. Looks pretty nice. I got both the insides and the outsides complete. Took about 30 minutes to get all these teeth and such. It's looking good though, overall. And yeah, I'm gonna just I don't want to stop the video here. I really wanted to work through and finish at least the main body of the ship, but I'm just too tired. But if you want to go ahead and get the sails out and paint the mast, with the narwhal horn part that's holding up the sail, you can go ahead and paint that too while you got the paint out, because that will be the same color. So yeah, next time we'll work on the gold and the silver cannons, and of course finish up the sails and these leafy flag bits. She'll be fit to sail, my friends. So here we have it, before and after. Yay! What do you think, first mate? Yeah. Hello? No, it's too out of focus. Oh well. She is asleep, which is what I am going to be as soon as this video turns off. So, Until next time, me hearties, stay well. One last little tidbit before I leave. My fellow painter Dullspork, who, again, his link to his YouTube videos for Dreadfleet I am posting in the description, so check that out. Had a good idea about using some dark flesh instead of the black on top of the volcano. I'm still going to keep most of my black, but around the outer rim I'm going to try using some of the dark flesh. Let's see what happens. Ew. Need to shake that up a little better. Much better. Alright. I think I need a better brush. Better brush, better brush. Or maybe not. Let's see what happens when I hold the camera and do this. Paint with one hand. Gotten to the point of lack of sleep, where I'm acting all crazy, singing like a rock star. Okay, I'll quit it. Actually, it doesn't look that much different than the red I've been using in here. Oh well. I'll touch a little bit of these ends and let's see what happens. Is it looking good? I think so. Whoever wins that auction is going to have a nicely painted volcano. Nicely painted everything. Yeah. Okay. Really need my sleep. I like it. I like it. But then I could never finish painting if I just keep adding little details like this. For real. Like, that would be my sickness. Never an end to a project. I keep adding to it. Well, it looks great in this section that I've done. The worst part is I find that a lot of people, they just want to get their game on the table and they don't care as much about the quality, and there's really nothing wrong with that, but you know, they could do so much more with awesome models like this. It's like, how could you not? One thing GW is good at is making beautiful models. Oh, well, I'll probably add a little bit here and there and everywhere, but that is it, my friends. I'm going to go to my barracks with me pug, sleep, before I become a zombie myself. Brains. 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 Any brains will do. Your brains. That's okay. I'm not going to eat your brains for real. I'm not going to eat them for real. Don't worry.